Minister, today the ESRI published a report detailing the need for the state to take a new approach to housing. The approach they outlined was to borrow money and build houses. This is a strategy that Sinn Féin have been calling on for years. As they said, and their calculations were on the conservative side, they still found that the most effective and viable option to solving the crisis was to borrow and to build. In my maiden speech in Cork City Council in 2009, I warned the Fine Gael councillors and Fianna Fáil councillors that night that we were in a housing crisis. They laughed and said there was no such thing as a housing crisis. Here we are 12 years on, and the ESRI estimate that there is a need to build 35,000 new homes every year to come on stream if we are to meet our targets. This year, between the government and the private sector, the best guess that you'll deliver will be 15,000 homes. That leaves a deficit of 20,000 homes. A deficit that has been building for years because of a lack of investment by Fine Gael and Fine Gael supported by Fianna Fáil governments. What we're looking for, over the lifetime of this government, if Sinn Féin were in power, we would deliver 100,000 homes in 5 years. 60,000 social homes, 30,000 affordable purchase homes and 10,000 affordable rental homes. We would put an end to reliance on the private sector and private developers. If Eoin O'Brien was the Minister for Housing, he would provide people with homes. There are over 5,000 families and people on the Cork City Council housing waiting list, and that doesn't include those in HAP, ROS or rent supplement who are not properly housed. The waiting lists are so long that when people ring me about their application for social housing, I have to tell them that their young children will probably be teenagers before they get their house.
No problem. Listen, I'll let you know.
People are waiting 8, 9, 10 years and even longer before they're getting an offer of a house. A child shouldn't have to spend their entire childhood waiting on a permanent, secure home. Children in Cork and across the state are growing up in overcrowded, unsuitable accommodation. And this is because Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael allowed this to happen. Your parties created the housing crisis. The Taoiseach yesterday is reported to have assured his Fine Gael party colleagues that the local property tax will be reduced for people with homes worth €1 million a year. Worth €1 million. Are ye that out of touch that ye think reducing taxes on the very wealthy is what's needed right now when children are growing up waiting on a home? Do you not accept, Minister, that the government must now finally change their housing strategy and recognise that the Sinn Féin strategy to borrow and build is the only way we can solve the housing crisis? The ESRI have come out and virtually said that the Sinn Féin strategy is the only way forward to delivering houses. This is a housing emergency. We had a COVID-19 emergency and we threw all the money needed at it to resolve it. Now we need to do the same with housing. We need to put the investment in there to deliver the houses that are needed, and this is for the people.
Thank you very much, Deputy Gould. Minister.
Thank you, Ceann Comhairle, and I thank the Deputy for putting down this topical issue, which is a very serious issue. And I would remind the Deputy the best way to build houses as well, he could advise his colleagues to stop objecting to houses. And also, in terms of, he quotes the ESRI, but it's very interesting he doesn't quote the ESRI in terms of property tax, when you have a progressive tax that he is against. He's against carbon tax, and yet he's advocating what the state should borrow. So it's called fantasy economics. Increasing the supply of public, social and affordable homes is a priority for this government. It is the #1 priority, and the Taoiseach has clearly stated this: to deliver the housing and housing policies to ensure everyone has access to a home, whether it be social, affordable, a home to rent or a home to buy. The programme for government includes a commitment to deliver 50,000 new social homes with a focus on new build homes. Local authorities will be central in increasing the supply of new build social housing, and my department is working closely with the local government sector to ensure that they have capacity to deliver this ambitious programme. We will ensure that local authorities have the required technical expertise to initiate, develop, deliver new housing schemes with a particular focus on project management. And you will be aware, Deputy, in terms of what Cork has borrowed to deliver significant, the St Kevin's site and Boherbue, huge sites in your own constituency. The government is also committed to putting affordability at the heart of the housing system by prioritising the increased supply of public, social and affordable homes. This will be achieved through state-backed affordable home purchase scheme and to promote home ownership by working with local authorities, approved housing bodies and the private sector to ensure that there is an appropriate mix of housing provided nationally. We will also improve the supply and affordability of rental accommodation and the security of tenure for renters through new initiatives such as cost rental. We are providing capital funding of €468 million specifically to cover affordability measures, including €110 million ring-fence for the shared equity and cost rental loans, €50 million for services sites funding, €38 million for the LIHAP funding, €210 million for Rebuilding Ireland Home Loan and €205 million spent by the Land Development Agency in the progression of housing, including affordable homes on key strategic sites, of which €60 million will be provided through the vote of the Department of Housing. In 2021, the Government's commitment to the increase in supply of public housing is underpinned by a record budget of €3.3 billion delivering our housing programmes. In addition to the Exchequer investment in housing programmes, the Housing Finance Agency, under my aegis, is on hand to advance funds to local authorities and approved housing bodies for the use of delivery of housing. Under difficult circumstances, the HFA have a net loan book increase of €505 million in 2020, and we have to consider that off the backdrop of COVID-19. Despite the restrictions, 2020 was a record year for approving AHB business loan approvals. €1 billion gross loan advances of €773 million through the year brought through the loan book, with a record €5.2 billion making significant and invaluable contribution to housing delivery in Ireland. This year we will publish the Government's new strategy, Housing for All, which will set out our strategy and policy for the next 5 years. As you will know, the plan has been developed in the context of the need for 33,000 homes each year across all tenures, again underscored by the ESRI. The plan will include annual targets for delivery for social and affordable housing. Housing for All is a whole-of-government approach, and Minister O'Brien is working closely with his colleagues in governments for all the measures taken clearly in the plan. I welcome the contribution by the ESRI report and the debate in terms of how we fund the delivery of these programmes, and the government will be considering this. And the LDA obviously is huge in terms of delivering. At times when our economy might be stressed with public debt, it will have the capacity to raise funds and deliver housing in a counter-cyclical manner. And it's important that when we're quoting the ESRI, that we do so, not selectively when it suits us, but in the context of all the initiatives that's in the housing area.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Gould.
Listen, it's like the Minister accuses me and Sinn Féin of quoting the ERSI when it suits us. But is that not what you're doing? The ESRI have said that the government needs to double its expenditure on housing if we are to solve the housing crisis. That's what it says. So does the Minister not accept that as a bona fide fact, or does he say that the ESRI and Sinn Féin are incorrect? Because there can be no doubt that our housing policy is the only way to solve the crisis. Minister, Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael would rather spend €503 million every year to private landlords for HAP and Ross and for rent supplement to make landlords and speculators and vulture funds super rich, because you must have, that's your policy, the private sector. Where Sinn Féin's policy is to deliver public homes on public land. And just to outline a few things, the Minister mentioned there St Kevin's site. It's unbelievable. Like, I ask myself sometimes, were these ministers even around? In 2011, 12 and 13, I proposed building on St Kevin's site. In 2009 and 10, I proposed building on the old Whitechurch Road site in Cork. And Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael blocked us every step of the way. Now, 10 years later, you're coming in here saying, look at the great work we're doing. If you had done the work when you should have done the work 10 years ago, like I and other Sinn Féin people have proposed, we wouldn't be in the middle of the housing crisis. And just to let the Minister know how far behind him and his government are, Cork City Council have set up a site where you can lodge your interest in a new affordable housing scheme that Cork City Council announced 2 years ago on Boherby Road. They're still waiting on this government to let them know how much they can sell those prices are. Cork City Council have 6 or 7, maybe 8 affordable housing projects waiting to go, and the only thing holding it up is you and your government.
Thank you, Deputy.
Sinn Féin will deliver houses.
Thank you very much, Minister Burke.
Thank you, Count Corla. And as I said, to deliver houses, you can't be objecting to them. So I think you may have a look at your policy in that regard first.
Point of order. Fianna Fáil councillors in January 2020 voted against social housing.
Can we hear the Minister without interruption?
And one of them was
Can we hear the Minister without interruption?
In the first instance, Count Corla, I hear the Deputy quoting selectively back a decade ago why these houses weren't built. Why these houses weren't built in 2009, 2010 and 2011. But what he fails to note is that we were under an IMF programme, that the state was spending 50% more than it was taking in income, that we were locked out of the markets, that any borrowing was as high as 14%, that our local authorities, to Dublin and Westmeath, were piloting the mortgage to rent scheme because we were saturated with debt in our local authorities. He ignores all that when he talks about 2009, 10, 11 and 12. And that's one of the core underscores of this crisis, because the state hadn't the capacity to deliver, but it has the capacity now, and it is delivering now with a record budget into the department. And I didn't quote the ESRI, he did. But when it comes to property tax, about raising money in this state, he takes the populist route. He won't look at it. He walks away from it. A progressive tax. When it comes to carbon tax, about protecting our environment, he won't look at it. He walks away from it again. And he talks about restrictions here, day in, day out, banning travel into our country, and yet he won't vote in terms of to extend emergency provisions. The hypocritical stances we've seen in this House over the last 10 days is absolutely incredible by many deputies. And
so
I won't take lectures from a party who objects to housing day after day, week after week. We have a record budget. We're in the business of building houses for all our citizens, and we will do that, and we will deliver on that. Thank you.